Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is yet another Eurovision 2025 related video here on my channel, and the second video in this little series I'm doing regarding the Saturday Showdowns, or Super Saturdays if you prefer, of the Eurovision 2025 season. And of course, as we all know, this year's Eurovision will take place in a few months' time in Basel, Switzerland. Last week I filmed a video like this, and I'm doing it again now. This upcoming Saturday is February the 8th, and once again there are events all over Europe with regards to the ESC of 2025. What I'm going to do is go through these events one by one and give you my thoughts on what might happen, and also some personal opinions on the songs involved. As always, you are welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. So I have the list of shows up in front of me. I am filming this very late on February the 6th, so I will briefly discuss February the 7th's Eurosong, which is taking place in Ireland, starting at 22:35. I assume that is CET. And then on Saturday, it's just such a busy evening. If you are a hardcore Eurovision fan, you will be flicking backwards and forwards with your various live streams. And as I said last week, I've just never really been that sort of person. I don't know why, but I've just never been that invested in the national final season. I hear the songs, I see the live performances, in some cases well after a national final is over and done with, and of course I have my favourites. But I never really tune into a live stream or anything like that. Something the Eurovision YouTube channel has been doing for maybe 2 or 3 years now is streaming some of the national finals right there on their own YouTube channel, which I think is really great, and I'd like to see that become more commonplace as the years move forwards. So I might tune in, maybe. I think they're showing Malta's national final on Saturday, so I might catch a little bit of that. But in all honesty, I'm not too bothered. What really matters is who wins, of course. So on Saturday, we have Vidbir, which it says here, I'm looking on the Eurovision Instagram page, begins at 5:30 in the evening. Finland's UMK is at 8 p.m, which is the same time as Heat 2 of Sweden's Melfest. I've made a video all about that. You may well have seen it. And also the same time as the final semi-final of Lithuania's selection. The final of Latvia's Supernova is at 8:10. The first semi-final of Iceland's national selection, which nobody seems to be talking about, begins at 20:45, 8:45, and then Malta's national final begins at 9 p.m. And like I said a moment ago, I assume those times are CET. So, let me talk briefly about Ireland's selection. Now, you'll have to really bear with me here, because some of these songs I haven't heard for a little while, so I can't really remember them too well in some instances. So just bear that in mind. Now, with regards to Ireland, this national final, Eurosong, which is going to be part of the Late Late Show once again, it's not too bad. I think Ireland turned a corner last year. I think many Eurovision fans were surprised, not so much by the quality necessarily, but by the diversity. You know, we had Go Toban, we had obviously Doomsday Blue, which went to Eurovision and did very well for itself. Those types of songs that really were visually arresting and so hard to ignore, it felt so uncharacteristic for Ireland to be doing this. We had become accustomed to rather samey sounding vanilla type tracks, and last year it wasn't so much the case, was it? And I think it was really, really appreciated. And it does appear as though for 2025 the Irish broadcaster RTE are definitely thinking the same thing. Let's try and have a reasonable amount of variety, some songs that definitely could stand out with really great staging, and it's very appreciated, absolutely, certainly by myself. The lineup is Run Into the Night by Adji, Power Play by Bobby Arlo, Lake a Party by Emmy, Growth by Niall, Fire by Raelta, and My Way by Samantha Mumba. Now, I think there is a clear choice here, actually, for Ireland, and that's a bit of a shame. Yes, it's a small lineup, but really, and I've said this before, every song should be capable of winning a national final. Otherwise, it ain't good enough, it shouldn't really be there. you could make that claim. Here, I think it's between 3 songs, but really there is one song that is quite a way ahead of the others, in my personal opinion. We do have the running order, so I'll go through them based on the running order. The winner will be determined thanks to a combination of international jury votes, national jury votes, and public vote. So I think that's the same as last year. Run Into the Night by Aji is really quite nice, very pleasant to listen to. I'm not sure it has strong immediacy. I talk about this all the time. Does it really capture your attention quite quickly? I'm not sure this one does. And we have to remember, this isn't a great national final in terms of the presentation. It's quite small. You're not really getting a good feeling necessarily about many of the performances involved. Doomsday Blue, of course, was elevated no end once it was on a much bigger stage in Malta last year. So we have to remember that. We're not really getting the full package whatsoever. And we can't judge these performances tomorrow night too harshly. Anyway, Run Into the Night is really nice. It is my second favourite, I believe, of the Irish selection. Then we have The Song That Should Win. It's a lot of people's favourite, and I think this could stand out a great deal at Eurovision. It reminds me a little bit of Luke Black's entry for Serbia in Liverpool 2 years ago, but it's better. It's Power Play by Bobby Arlo. Now, Bobby is very active on social media. I actually featured in a video on her Instagram page, and she probably posted it elsewhere too. It was a whole group of Eurovision-related YouTubers talking about her song. I'm in it, and so are a whole bunch of other people whose content I watch from time to time. So that was pretty cool. Anyway, Bobby, who is from County Wicklow, just seems really cool. I think they'd be a great representative, and they wrote the song themselves, which has to be appreciated. It is quite short. I played it in my friend's car yesterday to remind him of what it sounded like, because it's also his favourite. If you want to see our top 3s of various national finals, the joint Instagram page, link in the description as always, it's his favourite, and he just couldn't remember it too well, so I played it for him. And it's only about 2.5 minutes long, which is a bit of a shame, so maybe if this goes to Eurovision, a bit more could be tacked on. I don't know. Anyway, Song 3 is Fire by Railta, which is co-written by Ryan O'Shaughnessy, who represented Ireland in 2018 in Lisbon. This is very nice. Feels fairly traditional. Feels almost magical and otherworldly in terms of its sound. Unfortunately, I don't like this as much as I want to, and that's all I can really say about it. I'm not sure it's the strongest choice, but it's a very credible effort. Song 4 is Samantha Mumba with My Way. This is exactly the sort of song that I could listen to about 10 times and still not tell you the melody of it. With all due respect to Samantha, who is a very experienced performer, very experienced singer, this song is arguably the weakest of the bunch. In my opinion, I don't think it should be going to Eurovision whatsoever, but it's not bad. Song 5, Growth by Niall. It's a similar story to Railta here. It's a song that I'd like to like more, but I just don't, and I'm not sure if I ever will. Again, very credible. And then closing Eurosong is Emmy with Like a Party, whatever. Obviously, we know her. She was in MGP a few years ago. I really sense that this was a rejected MGP song, so how Ireland got their hands on it, I don't know. I assume Emmy submitted it to Ireland after it was rejected by Norway, potentially. I don't even know if that happened, but I'm assuming it probably did. I don't think Ireland will pick this because she's not Irish. But who knows? It's closing Eurosong. It's probably going to stand out. It could be very messy live. It's quite fun. It's my number 3 of the Irish selection this year, so I wouldn't be mad if it won Eurosong. But I think, as I said in a previous video, it's Bobby or bust. Anyway, moving on to the next show, and we're moving into Saturday now, so it's time to talk about Vidbir, which a lot of people are quite disappointed by, at least the comments that I've seen. It's taking place in Kyiv. We had the online wildcard round. There's no point really talking about that. The lineup is Vlad Sheriff, Abby, Melody, which is my favourite. Future Culture, Masha Kondratenko, who I think will win, and is my second favourite. Kayat, or Kayat, who is my number 3, I think, and might win. Finka, who came through the online wildcard. Krilata, Zifferblatt, and DK Energetic. That's a very interesting song to close proceedings. Yeah, it's not the most impressive batch. I think we've had much stronger Ukrainian national finals in the recent past. Wind of Change, I don't mind that, but it's a pretty ordinary ballad. My Sea by Melody, I just like the vibe of that one. Very easy to go along with. Maybe it's not massively original, and I do feel as though Ukraine often go for songs that have real originality, something that no other country is going to go anywhere near in their national final. And I think that's what makes Ukraine so good in many ways at Eurovision, is because they have entries that are so unlike anything any other country brings to the table, more often than not. I don't think they stand a chance. Waste My Time is very relaxing. It's pretty cool, that song, but I don't think it's going to come anywhere near to winning. Masha with No Time to Cry, I think that's in with a very good shot. Beautiful woman, born in December 1999, released a whole bunch of singles and collaborated with musicians as well over the years. She's been on TV, talent shows, and what have you. So yeah, I think she's in with a pretty good shot. Honor by Kayat. Andrei Alexandrovich Kayat was born in 1998. Now, he's been in Vidbir before. He also won the Ukrainian Song of the Year, apparently, in 2020. His song is okay, but actually I would say it's not the most interesting track here. I don't mind it, but I think there's other songs that are a little bit more, oh, this is quite unusual and interesting and different. This is more sonically appealing, perhaps. So yeah, I mean, he's in with a very good shot. Finka, I like that song that she has, Kultura, more than I thought I would, actually. I wasn't so sure about it in the online wildcard, but I've given it a chance, and you must give every song a fair shot. And I certainly don't mind it. Zifferblatt with Bird of Prey. This is a sort of relatively slow-going, indie-ish type song. I don't really know how to describe it. Again, it would definitely be very different from anything else at Eurovision this year. But I'm not sure it would really get a huge amount of love. I could be wrong, because Ukraine do well pretty much every year. And they'll do well again this year, no matter what they send. But I am not really fully on board with Zifferblatt, it has to be said. And they were involved last year, was it not? And finished second, which I found surprising. And I didn't really love that song either. So maybe it's just me. Yeah, I think it's going to be either No Time to Cry, Honor, or Bird of Prey. And my favourite is My Sea. So there we go. Ukraine guaranteed a good result this year as far as I'm concerned. I'd be amazed if anything but a top half finish in the final happened in May. The next event to talk about is UMK. Now, it has been a good while since I heard these songs, so I apologise. The quality is pretty good, but then again, it's been good with UMK for a number of years. It is quality over quantity. We've got 6 songs. It would have been 7, but One Morning Left were booted out for reasons that I won't go into, but I'm not at all surprised. They withdrew, and they've actually split up. It's going to take place in Tampere, and the lineup is as follows. Kosti, Nia River, Goldilocks, Vivi, Nelly Matula, and Erika Wickman. Now, it should be close. It ain't going to be close. I think this is going to be potentially a landslide win. I'm not Finnish. I have no idea what they've got planned. But I would be really shocked if it's not Ik Kommer winning and therefore being the Finnish entry in Basel this May. Kosti's track. Interesting that he's the only guy and he's on first. That's a pretty good song, actually. The chorus isn't bad. And I must say, UMK, they're so good at this. I like the way they release the songs one per day. I really like that. Because it gives you a chance to digest the previous track before the next one comes along. And the music videos / lyric videos we've had in the past, they're always pretty top quality. So I really like what UMK do there every year. Anyway, this song, Sekaisin, it's nice. I really don't have anything else to say about it. I don't think it's coming close to winning. In fact, it might finish last. But it's not bad. Nightmares, which I think was the first song we had, this is... It's not the same, obviously, but it's a bit like We Will Rave, the Austrian entry last year, but arguably a great deal stronger. This is a loud, pulsating beat sort of song, real energy to it, quite catchy. There's a big note right at the end, and yeah, I'm really excited to see the staging for it. It should be challenging for the win. I think it's one of the strongest songs here. I actually do need, within the next 24 hours, to go through these finished tracks again and just make sure I know what my top 3 is. Because I'm not sure Erika is my favourite. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, Nightmares is really good. Goldilocks with Made Of. Yeah. Pretty cool video. This feels quite contemporary, radio friendly. If it was the British Eurovision entry, I don't think people would be mad about it whatsoever. Don't think it stands much of a chance, in all honesty. Vivi with Aina is a really nice ballad. There's always a solid, credible ballad in UMK every year, and this time around, it is song 4 on Saturday night. Really nice. Packs somewhat of an emotional punch, builds up, stirring stuff. I say this stuff all the time on my channel because I'm not a professional journalist. It's really good. But Finland aren't going to pick it. I'd be very surprised. If they do, no complaints from me. And certainly, if this was the Finnish entry and then it got into the final, the jury vote, hello, many points, very likely if you ask me. Song 5, Hitamin Hautaan by Nelly Matula. Yeah, the music video, it's in this sort of broken down looking bedroom, if I remember correctly, and she's in this dress. And it's a really solid pop effort. It's not too over the top. Maybe it's lacking a little bit of sparkle, a little something dynamic to make it truly wow, in my opinion. But it's really, really decent. And most other countries would love a song of this quality in their own national final. But it's going to be Erika Wickman, who of course was the runner-up years ago with Cicciolina. A very striking performer, quite a saucy performer, I would say. This song, chock full of innuendos. You know that the staging is going to be quite camp and quite risque, and it's about balancing it between vulgar and unnecessary, or being a right old good raunchy time. And yeah, I think it'll be a case of which side this performance falls on Saturday night. I really don't see anything but an Erika win. It's a pretty good song. There's this chant element to the chorus. Ich komme, ich komme. I mean, you'll probably get a few votes from Germany, certainly, just because of that alone. It's a song that I think is... It's a song that needs a big stage. That's what I'm trying to say. And she could get it. She really could. How old is Erika? 30-something? Wow, yes. So today is February the 6th. It's my 32nd birthday. And on February the 20th, it will be Erika's 32nd birthday. So she is very close to me in age. What do you know? Anyway, yeah, that's enough about UMK. It's going to be Erika. Can't see any other situation happening there. Moving on to Sweden. Well, I've spoken about Melfest Heat 2, which is taking place in Gothenburg this weekend, of course. I do need to listen to the snippets again, and we are going to get some footage of the performances tomorrow, I believe, but don't quote me on that. I never really checked them out, to be honest with you. I think Clara Hammarström and Khalifa, song 6, and Clara's song 4 with On and On and On, I think they're going to go through directly to the final. And then it's probably between Erik Segerstedt, song 3, and Nomi Tales with Funniest Thing, song 1, for that position in the second chance round, runoff vote, whatever you want to call it, at the end of Heat 5 in several weeks' time. Schlagers, very typical stuff, don't see it getting enough love. And Fredrik Lundban, fine, nice vocals. Again, not sure it's going to get enough love. Moving on to Lithuania's Heat 5, well, some of these songs might already be out, but I've not checked them out. I think now, and I might have said this last week anyway, I think it's between two songs at the moment for victory in Eurovision.lt, but in this fifth and final semi-final, we have... Well, I'm not going to name everybody, but we've got Ieva, the 2018 representative, with Don't You Ever Leave Me, Matt Len, San Francisco, Lion Cheka. A whole bunch of names. And once again, jury and public voting will be used to determine the winner. Now, if we take a look, in Heat 1, Anyanya won the public vote fairly comfortably and won the jury vote, so don't rule him out winning. In Heat 2, it was a bit closer, and there was a slight difference of opinion between the jury and public vote. Petunia and Noi went through. In Heat 3, Black Biceps very comfortably won the public vote, but did not go through because the jury vote takes precedence. Why on earth this is the case in Lithuania, I don't know. But Jebrasi and Goya went through. I don't see either of those songs winning. And then last week we had Catharsis and Amuralu going through. And Catharsis, who I spoke about before being an act to watch, they won the public vote by about 300 votes and also won the jury vote. So I think they are strong contenders. And if nothing else comes along in semi-final 5, then I'm sticking with what I'm saying to you now, Anyanya, or it's going to be Catharsis representing Lithuania this year. The final is in Kaunas, and again it will be public and jury voting determining the winner, but we'll talk about the final closer to the time. We now have to move on to Latvia. My God, it's a busy weekend. Supernova 2025. We have the semi-final on February the 1st. No real surprises. A shame that Malta didn't go through. I'm a little bit surprised Justs didn't go through. A bit of a surprise that Cobra didn't go through. But otherwise, as expected, we've got the grand final running order. And it's Chris Noah, Palu, Synergia, Chitizeni, Tepat, the Ludwig, Marcus Riva, Tautu Meitas, Bel Tempo and Legstina, and Emilia. Now, once again, jury and public voting will be used to determine the winner. Chris Noah is a bit of a big star in Latvia, so his song is definitely in with a good shot of winning. It's on first. I don't think that really matters. He's going to get a lot of public support, so do not be shocked if this makes the top 3 at least on Saturday night. I don't mind it. It's not the strongest song here. Delusional by Palu, really quite surprised that's in the final. Would be shocked if it did really well. Bound by the Light is fine, but it's one of 2 somewhat folky entries in the final, and the other one is arguably better, so I think this one might struggle a bit. Ramtai by Chitizeni, haven't seen the live performance, but I've seen enough of the live performance, and I thought it was quite messy. Didn't really love the way it was presented, and I think any momentum that this song had has definitely dissipated over the past few days, over the past week, since that live performance. They could still do it. They're popular. Eurovision fans know them, like them. They didn't qualify for the final in Turin back in 2022. I'm not sure this would. And as much as I don't mind this song, yeah, I think the momentum has faded ever so slightly. Sadsayot by Tepat might do it, but I sense another Sudden Light situation. Eurovision fans are all over it, and then they don't really vote for it enough, and therefore no final. Ligo by the Ludwig, yeah, that's in with a very strong shot of winning. Again, not too sure about the way it was presented, but it's a very fine effort. Bigger Than This by Marcus Riva, yeah, that's not coming close to winning if you ask me, but it's not bad. Burman Laimi is very good. The staging, a little bit Blanca Paloma inspired maybe. But yeah, this is a very, very fine effort. This definitely feels a bit magical. It feels quite unique. It feels quite different. It's the sort of thing that you listen to and think, wow, that on the Eurovision stage, that could be a real moment. That could really stand out. Song 9, I am all in. If Latvia send the water, I will go on about it for a very long time. This could be one of the great, for me, moments of the Eurovision 2025 season. The Water is such a great song. When I heard a snippet of it for the first time, weeks and weeks ago, that video's up on my channel somewhere, I liked the sound of it. I heard the whole thing, liked it even more. I've seen the live performance, still really like it. Legstina has had a lot of success. You've got the two guys as well on stage with her. This is just so beautiful and so simple. Beautiful in its simplicity. It feels very authentic. There's nothing false about it whatsoever. It feels like a complete breath of fresh air. It's exactly the sort of things Eurovision fans would find boring, or some Eurovision fans would find boring at Eurovision, and neutrals would probably fall asleep listening to it, with all due respect. But this is so damn good. And Latvia, I'm not saying they could be my winner of Eurovision 2025, but they might come close if they send this song. And then Heartbeat by Amelia. And I did see a graphic halfway through the Supernova semi-final last week suggesting that Amelia was winning with the public. So this is in with a really great shot. Not too much going on with the staging. A little bit disappointing, I won't lie. I like it. My friend likes it. There's been a bit of a backlash towards it, though. Not really sure why. It does feel very, I suppose, Nordic in terms of its sound. Very sort of Melfest, DMGP, that sort of thing. But is that really that bad? I'm not sure. I really don't mind it. If this goes to Eurovision, there'll be no complaints from me. But I am all in with the Water. Come on, Latvia. Do not let me down now. The next show to talk about is Iceland, the first semi-final of Songvakeppnin. I can't imagine many people will be tuning into this myself. Anyway, we've got the second semi-final as well, February the 15th. The final will be the week after that. So, semi-final 1... 5 songs, there's 5 in the other heat as well, and it will be just public voting, is it? Determining who goes through? I think that was the case last year, was it not? Yes, it was. There's no wild card this time around, so 3 out of the 5 songs in each heat will go through. And then the final, the voting's changed ever so slightly, but I'll talk about that closer to the time. So, as we know in Iceland, you have to sing your song in Icelandic in the semi-final, and then if you make the final, you have to perform it as you would if you were going to Eurovision. So that can mean you perform it in English, which is why there are 2 versions of every song in Songvakeppnin every year, the Icelandic version and the English or indeed other language version if necessary. So in semi-final 1 we have Stebby Jack with Frelsith Mitt, which is the rock number, which I can see doing very well, but actually I'm not really on board with it. We have Jeg Fligi Stormin by Birgo, which is probably the strongest song here. It's my favourite. I actually revisited the Icelandic contenders a short time ago. This is the one for me. It's not outstanding, but I like it very much. August with Eins og Þú. That's okay. Little bit bland. Song 4 is Norðurljós, Northern Lights by Bia. Quite nice. Maybe lacking a little extra sparkle. And then Song 5, Roa by Vibe, the 2 guys. Fröken Snusk, if she's heard this, she should sue. My word, that was difficult to get out. She should sue, because it's so similar to the song she had in Melfest last year. And Echo Inimai, which was in MGP the other year as well, very similar to that. I mean, strikingly similar at times. Anyway, it's upbeat, sort of electro-type pop, I guess. I am intrigued about the live vocals. That will make or break this song's chances, potentially. I don't know what Icelandic people are really gravitating towards at the moment. 3 go through. Vibe, Birgo, and it's probably going to be Stebby Jack that go through, which means Bia and August might miss out. If Jegfligi Stormin does not go through, considering a lot of Eurovision fans have ranked that very highly, Iceland are shooting themselves right in the foot. Absolutely. I'll talk about semi-final 2 next week, all being well. But yeah, I think the strongest song is in this week's first semi-final. And then we have the Malta Eurovision Song Contest final. Tonight, as I talk to you, was semi-final 2. So we do have the complete lineup now of MESC 2025. Here we go. So in the final, and the running order will be announced shortly, we have Mark Anthony Bartolo, Raquella, Christy Spiteri, big fan favourite I would say, definitely one of the strongest songs here. Not much to the staging, vocally very strong, definitely should be up there challenging for the win. We have Justine Shawford, JVF, which is a bit of a supergroup, and my friend doesn't mind this song, it's okay, really quite dated. I can see it doing very well. I think Malta will probably gravitate towards this one quite a bit because who's in the group, and it's a very lively, feel-good sort of track, but it's not the best one here. The Adria Twins, or Adria Twins, that's really good. There's great potential for that if it goes to Eurovision, but I don't think it's going to get there. Victoria Shibaras, that's in with a good shot. Could say that's fairly dated, but it was performed with conviction. And then Kurt Kaleja, or Kurt Kalea, is through, and I can't see that doing well myself. A bit surprising Haley didn't make the cut. Yet again, shafted by the Maltese. That woman needs to keep coming back, and at some point she will get her golden song, which does really well. Anyway, semi-final 2, we had Kelsey Balante, she's out, bit surprising. Dario Betsina and Joseph Ilmuni. This was the replacement entry. There is a bit of momentum behind this one, and it's fine, but I don't think it's the strongest choice. Kelsey Attard is out. Miriana Conte, oh man, with Kant. Haven't seen the live performance in full, but whoa Nelly, what a hot mess. What a hot mess, which I sort of expected. This song is not bad. I can see it on the Eurovision stage in May. There would have to be some changes to it, though. Let's be honest. And those changes might make the song less enjoyable for some people. I don't know if that would even happen at all, if these changes would come to fruition. I don't think it's the strongest choice for Malta. I really don't, but a lot of people want it to be Malta's choice. We'll wait and see. The Alchemists with Rubble and Stone, I think that's in with a reasonable shot of doing well. Martina Borg is through. Okay. Nathan Saylor is through. That's not bad. Cantera, that is the song Malta should be sending. It's going to stand out at Eurovision. It's very sing-along. It's in Maltese. Hello. Hello. Come on, Malta. I think this is the right choice. And I've seen some of the live performance. It was a little underwhelming in terms of its presentation, but there's room to improve if it goes to Eurovision, so I'm not too concerned. Krista Shuyak is through, very Olivia Rodrigo, and Stefan Galea is through. That song's not really my cup of tea one bit. Who do I think will win? Miriana could do it. Definitely she'll be up there. Cantera, I think, really should be winning it. That's my favourite. Christy Spiteri, Victoria Shibaras. If it's not one of those names, I don't think we have to worry about Malta this year. With all due respect. But we'll wait and see. And that is it. What a long video from me. Apologies if I was a bit too harsh at times. Very messy stuff. Let me know your thoughts on what is happening over the next few days with regards to events all across Europe to do with Eurovision 2025, and I'll be back with more Eurovision 2025 related content fairly soon. Until then, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now.